Hi everyone. I want to talk a little bit about Instagram profiles and kind of debunking this myth that people look at your Instagram profile like it's a web page or a magazine. Well, they might once. So, yeah. I found myself saying this a lot of times. Yeah, sure. Here's my Instagram page. There's my selfie. There's my you know, LED butterfly I bought, a quote from a song, I'm playing solitaire, that kind of thing, flowers, peanut butter jelly. Instagram is very personal and it's really hard to do it as a brand. Um, and I want to talk about some of the pages that I really like, but also how people consume Instagram primarily on their phones, primarily on their phones by looking at the feed. So this is how people consume Instagram. It's not chronological anymore, unfortunately. So you got to be a little careful with, Transformation Tuesday, Women Crush Wednesday, that stuff, because unless people are actually clicking on those hashtags or on Instagram following those hashtags, which they finally got smart and realized people really don't click on hashtags that much. They do on Instagram and Twitter, but I think Instagram made a really good move by allowing you to follow a hashtag. That aside, this is how people consume content. Oh, look, reposting. You know that's not allowed, but whatever. Term of service is another. So here's a video of an engagement ring. I love this account. It's so cool. These little old boxes. Rings, really fun. A scripture. Adventure Photo Glass is one of my favorite people on the planet. And like maybe if I see a picture and then I go to their page, then I'll look that way. But it's pretty rare that people are stalking. Is what's essentially happening is you're going like this. Scroll, 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 scroll. That's a weird picture. Okay. Scroll, 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 scroll. Oh man. Yeah, this is can you solve this puzzle? Vegan food. I'm TJ. This guy's got a podcast. Somebody won an Echo Dot. Real Sky Bakery. That's a great account. Like the photography is fantastic. But like this is what people are doing. So what matters is that you do something that will stand out because people just scroll, 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 scroll. And the they're not, oh my gosh, look, that's a typo. So anyway, you're seeing these things and you're hoping that people are looking close enough that they'll want to, keep talking to you. But you don't know if they're going to do that. You don't know if they're going to, how they're going to consume it. But most of the time, this is how people do it. They scroll, okay? So I want to talk a little bit about keeping with a color scheme. Now, for the regular person, this might seem like, kind of too complicated. And if you look at mine, I'm not really keeping with a color scheme. This is just me. But one of my favorite people is Jamie. She has Lilly Journals. And her account is very similar. She sticks with a color scheme, and you always see purple, you always see this black doily. Well, not always, but a lot of the times. And it helps you see, this continuity so that when you do see it in the feed, you recognize it and you stop and you go, oh, this is something from Jamie. Hello, May. But then the second step that makes it really good is when you actually go the farther, right? And you write something captivating. So she says, happy soon to be May. I love fresh starts, don't you? I'm also super excited about my theme this month. I was walking my dog Charlie, telling her about, talking about ladybugs, and, you know, if it lands on your hand and a legend, how do you choose your themes, blah, 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 right? So she gets a lot of people to talk to her. And guess what? She's always replying. This is the really high quality engagement. I'm going to talk about somebody else I love, the Angry Therapist. I think it's the Angry Therapist. John Kim, he's a counselor. He has some books, that stuff. Author of I Used to Be a Miserable Bleep. And he constantly has these old typewriter kind, and then it's got hardly any words, so you know that it's him. And he kind of quotes himself with this Instagram handle, and then he has something to read, right? So even though sometimes you see his face, even though sometimes you see the podcast, and it, you know, it's uniquely human, you still see a lot of who he is with his motorcycles, his dad, what's going on with him, his books, that kind of stuff. His thoughts are constantly this way, right? So you know it's him. You know that it's his brand when you're consuming it in the feed by scrolling, because this is what we do. We scroll. We scroll like this with our fingers, right? So, who's another brand that I really, oh, the WP Buffs. They're a WordPress company that offers support. They outsource support and maintenance, and they're kind of fun now. They're really whimsical. They use way more emoji than I would recommend ever. Somehow they're getting away with it. Joe Howard and all those guys are awesome. They have their brand, their company culture. It's down, right? So they do a really good job talking about their people. So it's not necessarily the brand, but these are their employees and what they're doing, right? So you can see, like, it says, after a long day of watching the WordPress world, it's time for Kay to kick her feet up. So this is their employee. This is showing their company culture. El Paz is like hanging out with his kids at WordPress Do Action 19 or whatever, right? And so you're seeing like this family culture. There's Nick repping the WP Buffs, the WordPress community at Gives Ribbon Cutting, right? So you see, what are these people actually doing? Oh, that's fun. So even though they're not really over emojiing and everything like that, they're showing the company culture. That's another good way to talk about your brand, your company, in a way that's captivating and motivating. Like when I look at my insights, and I wish I could show them to you on this screen, and I'm sure somebody could figure it out. I probably could with AirPlay. But the most engagement I get on Instagram, time after time, is the most personal. So whatever level, whatever comfort level you have of being personal on Instagram, as a business, as a person, as a brand, as a up and coming thing, you should do that. If it's just golf, that's fine. You don't have to talk about that your husband died or anything like that. You don't have to be wearing your heart on your sleeve. But you should be more personal on Instagram. Instagram's really hard. It looks easy, but it's pretty hard to get traction. So I hope that helped. Thanks for watching. Sorry it was kind of long. Bye. Oh, I have lipstick on my teeth. Good job, Bridget. Bye.